Welcome to the Going North podcast, where you will be informed, encouraged, and empowered to embrace your dreams and advance in life through authorship. I'm your host, bestselling author of the book Stay the Course and certified leadership trainer, Dom Brightman. Be sure to check out the goods and services from every guest, as well as the host himself, yours truly. Now let the fun begin. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, the Going North podcast, another special panel, folks. That's right, another special panel for the month of September, courtesy of Miss Linda Sunshine, all the way from the West Side. That's right, folks. That's right, West Side. Even though I'm on the East Coast, but hey, it's all good. But this one's different in particular. Last week you got the Fearless Entrepreneurs. This week you get Invisible No More, Invincible Forever More. And we got five fabulous ladies for some 5-pack action of inspirational goodness. So instead of me doing introductions for all five of them, I'm going to have them introduce themselves, starting with the person on my left, the top left, Miss Nancy Lockhart.
Hi, everybody. Dom, thank you so much for having me and the panel of these amazing women. My name is Nancy Lockhart. I'm the founder of Lockhart Marketing. And what I do is I leverage my 20 years of corporate marketing with my life coaching, and I help people to unlock the heart of their business. See, my name and my company are the same thing.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Paige.
That is so awesome.
Woohoo! Next up, we got Paige.
Hey, thank you for having us, Dom. This is awesome. We're glad to be here, all of us. I'm Paige Davidson. I am a certified health and wellness coach, and I have a business a virtual business. I coach people virtually from across the world. I've coached people virtually, thousands of people, not specifically through my business before that, on intermittent fasting, weight loss, mindset, the things that you have to do to really be able to lose weight and be healthy and sustain that. So I love working with women in menopause. So many women think, okay, menopause has hit. I'm going to have a spare tire forever. I'm going to feel exhausted and foggy. I'm going to have brain fog. This is it. This is the rest of my life. It's going downhill from here. And I'm here to tell them that's not true. I lost 110 pounds in menopause and live a vibrant, wonderful, healthy, fun life. And you know what? Everybody can do that. And so that's what I do. Thank you.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. One heck of a powerful story right there. 110 pounds lost. Yes, indeed. That reminds me of one of our past guests, Packed Up Work. She didn't have the weight loss, but she does talk about healthy menopause in the workplace for wonderful ladies. And she was part of a book called Hot Women Rock. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Next we got Mischelle.
Hello, Dom. Thank you for allowing me to be on your stage. I'm Mischelle O'Neal, founder and CEO of Mastering Your Monday, LLC, and I'm an author, speaker, and certified life management coach and strategist. It's all about putting those strategies in place. Mm-hmm. What it is I like helping you come up with daily practices that you can do to help cultivate your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior so that you're a success in life. It's all about living your purpose and moving forward in what you were put on this earth to do.
And oh man, Master Yo Mondays indeed. That's right. TGIM. I love it. That's right. That's right indeed. In this case, thank God it's Mischelle, right?
Yes. I say, how do you make a success one Monday at a time? It's kind of like, how do you eat that elephant? You do it one Monday at a time, step by step.
That's awesome, Mischelle.
That's really great. Really great.
Thank you.
So wait, next we got Krystylle. You are up next.
Hey, everybody. It's great to meet some of the other authors in the book and great to meet you, Dom. Really excited to be here. My name is Krystylle Richardson, and I'm a wealth innovation strategist. I have an organization called Life Innovation Academy, and it goes into all areas of our life because I always do this. We're not one-dimensional human beings. We don't have to just look at our health, but we also need to look at our wealth profile. We need to look at what we're doing from a kingdom relationship, with God or whatever our higher power is, as well as I teach dance. I've taught dance in like 8 countries or so and spoken in over 30 some countries. And I was just on Let's Make a Deal. I'm just so excited. It's all about living out loud and just being your authentic self and making money at it. So that's what I do.
Ah, yes, indeed. Hashtag money, honey. The honey making lots of money. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's right. And when they say it's so nice, you got to do it twice. Welcome yourself back to the world, Sally.
Hey everyone, I'm Sally Green and I am known as the self-care rock star, as someone who was really good at taking care of my small business, taking care of my family and everybody else. I realized during COVID that I was really, really bad at taking care of me. And so for the past year and a half, almost 2 years, I have been on a journey of self-discovery and self-love. And now I take women who are where I was and bring them to where I am and where I'm going, because my journey is still continuing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I'm talking about, too. That's right. You forgot to mention the air guitars as well.
And I play the air guitar really good.
Okay.
So we can dance while you play the air guitar, right?
Right. And Krystyle's going to lead us in our dance. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Well, definitely a star-studded next half plus hour or so of goodness with these lovely ladies here who are taking charge and kicking lots of arse. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right, indeed. So my goodness, with this wonderful book right here, Invisible No More, Invincible Forever More. My goodness. So what made you invisible? Like, was it something in the past? Like, and this question can go out to anybody who wants to jump in first. Like, was there a time where you felt invisible and it's like, all right, now I'm feeling invincible. Like, I got magical 9-pack abs, so I'm ready to take on the world. Superman's got to get out the way. I'm freaking Superwoman right here, invincible to kryptonite. I got this covered.
Well, I'll jump in there first if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't necessarily feel that I was invisible per se, but I actually was, because I was not living out loud. I had where I had done a lot of things, been in a lot of places, even in high school, my very first international trip, aside from Canada, we lived in Michigan. And so we would go to Canada all the time, but I was picked in the 11th grade to be a part of a symphonic band and a jazz band. And so we toured Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. So that was my first time out of the country and just really, discovering myself in relation to music. But all of that happened because when I was in elementary school, I went there with my little plastic briefcase and my mom and dad told me I can be anything I want to be and do anything I want to do, but I was met with bullying. And so I immersed myself in my studies. I immersed myself into dance and into music and all of the arts and all of that. But doing well and exceeding in all of those made the bullying continue. So up until adulthood, actually. And it wasn't until I said 2 words, which were no more. And I said that at age 50. I'm 57 or about to be 57, something like that. But it took me all that time, just still doing things and being things. And people are like, you were bullied? They didn't believe that I was because of how outgoing I was, but inside I was dying. I was really dying. And I didn't allow God to take charge of that particular part of my life until age 50 when I said those 2 words.
I'll jump in next. When I first was introduced to this concept in this project, I looked at that invisibility through the lens of obesity. And I am the girl who has done everything. I've done every diet. I'm talking 40 plus years because I'm 58. And I went to every weight loss place there was, every physician's weight loss center, in my town of Lexington, I tried every everything, you know, drinks and powders and potions and injections of who knows what. And, you know, I did all of it. And I could lose weight. You know, I'm a good girl. I follow directions. You know, I could do the diet, I could lose the weight. And until I couldn't hang on anymore. I could not follow that crazy restrictive diet, weighing and measuring and counting and journaling and all of those things. I just wanted to be normal, like everybody else, and not have to do all that stuff. So I would quit, then I would go back to eating how I was, and then I would gain it all back plus more. So dieting got me up to 315 pounds. When I relented, you know, I went ahead and did the ultimate in trying to lose weight. I had weight loss surgery, which was successful initially. I lost 150 pounds. I didn't get all the way down to a goal, but I lost that weight and kept that off for about 4 years, 5 years, just white knuckling it, trying to follow those rules. The surgeon told me when he operated, he said, Paige, I can operate on your stomach, but I can't operate on your brain. And I was so discouraged because I knew exactly what he meant, and yet I didn't know at all what he meant. I knew there was something going on with my thinking, but if I knew what it was, I wouldn't weigh 315 pounds if I knew how to fix it. And there was no assistance with that. So that's the lens. You know, my obesity was sort of like a cloak that I wore every day. And many times I welcomed it because treating obese people in America is really kind of like the last area that it's okay to be rude to people who are overweight. You know, if you're lucky, people just don't see you. If you're lucky, you're just invisible. If you're unlucky, people are overtly cruel. And so I really welcomed that invisibility because it was so hard when people were overtly cruel. And when I got into this project, it wasn't until I lost the weight and I did all of the mindset work, I didn't really realize that I had listened to society. I listened to those messages. I listened to the message that if you weren't a size 2, you weren't valuable, you weren't important. And I took all that in. And the saddest thing was I became invisible to myself. So that was the ultimate invisibility, is when I became invisible to my own self. So it wasn't until I lost the weight, until I did the mindset work, that I realized, you know, what I was chasing wasn't weight loss, it was acceptance. So I really found acceptance with myself, and I wasn't invisible anymore. So that feeling of empowerment, that feeling of knowing that I'm not invisible, I am valuable, I'm invincible, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise, ever again. And so that's where the invisibility came for me.
And oh man, somebody's red hot with that one. My goodness indeed. No wonder you wore the red. That's right.
That's right.
I was going to
Indeed.
say, since we're on this red thing, I'll be the next one because, you know, we'll do all 3 reds up in a row. So I just noticed that looking at the screen. But the thing for me, it was the past. You asked Dom, was it something in your past? But a lot of times things in our past, we don't realize how much an effect that they have on us. My story isn't big. I didn't live homeless or anything like that, but it's not knowing who my father was. And the fact that by not knowing him, and then a story that I heard that he has said that he never accepted me, that I wasn't his, I've never met him, you know, and knowing that he's out there, it was always, you know, every little girl wants to be daddy's little girl, and always wanting to be accepted, wanting to know that, you know, it's like, I'm going to make you love me. I'm going to make you own up that I'm your daughter. I'm going to make you. So that's what drove me all my life. And it's the fact that, you know, seeking that acceptance and through people, and it was never the right acceptance. You know how no matter how hard you work at something and do something and you think you get it, you get that ice cream, and then no, that's just not it. And so it was never it for me. It's always seeking for his acceptance. And so my value, my worth, and all that was put into whether I was accepted. And I would never be accepted by who I wanted to be accepted by, because my father, now he's dead and I still never met him. So it's like, would I ever get that acceptance? Would I ever feel that value? And it was always feeling that I had to be perfect. Is the good girls don't, small phrases like good girls don't, or God don't like ugly. And all those things made me see myself as ugly, and that I wasn't a good girl and I wasn't perfect. And so how could my father want me or love me or need me if I'm not a good girl, if I'm not perfect? And because of that, Krystylle, I'm with you here. Because of that, I lost my solace was in music. And it was, I'm a performer, I'm a previous performer. And so I was hiding in plain sight because I was out there on the stage. I was bigger than life on the stage, but that wasn't me. And that wasn't who I was inside. So people saw this outgoing, full of life person, but I was dying, as Paige said, I was dying inside. And so it was never measuring up. And and it was hard to live with those unrealistic expectations. But then I had a real bad accident, and I realized, this isn't important. These aren't the things that are important in my life. And so even now, my biggest revelation was this last year, is when I realized we're not a product of who our mother or our father is, because they're just vessels, they're just vehicles that were used to bring us here on earth. But our purpose is what we're put on this earth for. So we're to live and walk in our purpose, regardless of who put us here, who was just the vehicle to put us in the place where we need to be to carry out the assignment that we have. So that was what was big for me. That was my invincible. That's why I feel invincible, because I know I have a purpose and a reason for being here. And it doesn't matter who my father or who my mother is. And I love my mother dearly, but I'm here to be who I am.
Woo! About to throw the robe over you already. She preaching, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Preaching, Michelle. Yes, indeed. Might as well collect offering now.
There you go.
You're up next, Nancy.
Well, I think, it's a great question, because I look back at my life and I kind of always had sort of this fairy tale script. And my story in the book is about a would-be princess. And I thought, you did all the things you were supposed to do. And I married my college sweetheart, and he moved me across the country, and I'm on the left coast with Linda. And it turned out that I was in an extremely abusive marriage. And so at that point, I wanted to be invisible. I wanted to disappear. I didn't, everything that I was told wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to happen. And so I did, finally got to the place where I was like, this isn't what I thought. So I moved out. And then I lost my job, and then I was in a huge earthquake, the Northridge earthquake, and I was like, oh my God, I really have nothing anymore. So no definition of who I am. I'm not a daughter. I'm not a wife. I'm not an employee, and even my home, all around me is destruction. So it took a lot for me to kind of get to the place where I pulled myself up and started over. And then once again, I got married. I have 2 amazing kids, and I fell into a deep, deep depression. And this is still, the story still isn't working out the way I was told it was going to be. The script is not what, I don't see happily ever after. I don't know where that is. And like the rest of the ladies on the panel, I think, it was really something within me that awoke. And I'm like, I don't have to do things the way I'm supposed to do things. And so I started my business, and I started helping other women build their businesses. And today was pretty cool, because I was at a volleyball game for my daughter, and one of the moms came up to me and she said, you know what? I admire you so much. You are chasing your dreams without anybody getting in your way. And she's like, I want to be more like that. And that was really cool. So.
Man. Man, oh man. Go on up, Sally. Go on ahead. I know you should go on ahead.
Well, my story is a little bit like Krystle's. I talk about in the book when I was in 7th grade and being bullied and all that entailed. I mean, at 12 years old, I was contemplating suicide. And so the thing that brought me out of it was when I was in 3rd grade, I had gone to a summer Bible camp and they gave me a Bible. And I would sit and read stories in the Bible saying, there's got to be an answer in here somewhere. And it always seemed that when I opened up the book and read a story, it was something that helped me that day. But the bullying still continued in school. And when my daughter became that age and she was about to go into middle school, I was having panic attacks because I was like, I don't want her to go through what I went through. And so I started a Bible study for teenagers with her and a bunch of her friends. And so the thing in the first class, I talked about being bullied in 7th grade and what I went through. And that was the first time I had ever shared that story, because I never share that story with my family. I didn't tell my husband until after we were married about it. I never told my parents until after I was married and out of college and stuff. So it was something that I was embarrassed about. It was something that I was ashamed of and that I buried for a long time. And so the second time I told the story is in this book. So I encourage you guys to get the book and read the stories, because these are all such powerful stories. And I love these ladies that I've gotten to know through this book. It's been a great fun adventure doing this with Linda.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. One powerful story after another. It's like you fall into a bear trap, metaphorically speaking, and then the bear trap takes you down to a freaking boulder, and then you jump over the boulder, and then you end up in a giant river, and then it's like, man, then you're sailing down into the final place of unicorns.
Unicorns and penguins, right?
You remember the penguins. All right,
did.
mind control is working. All right, good. This is good. Something powerful that stuck out with the stories, especially with Paige and Mischelle, is the fact that sometimes our invisibility, our invisible pain, sometimes is hiding in plain sight. So for those out there who may be going through that moment right now, and they're maybe feeling invisible right now, they feel like maybe someone else isn't going through their trouble. They too may be in an abusive relationship. They too sadly may have had a situation where they may not know their father or their mother or parent, or may not have that person to talk to. Any advice for folks out there, especially the ladies going through that time of invisibility, at least where they think it may be invisible, but some folks may catch certain traits and they may know your blind spots?
I just want to jump in. It's a journey. A lot of people think it's a one and done, that it's over with. You get your big ahas and it's over with. It's a daily battle. It's a daily journal, even for me, still now. There are times that there are certain triggers, certain things that can happen in your life, or certain things that can happen with someone else, or something you see on TV, or like Sally said, something that happens with your daughter that just triggers you spiraling back into those feelings or that thing that happened before. So it's a daily battle. It's a daily fight that we have to deal with ourselves. And so, like you said, realize that you're not alone. If you need to talk about it, or just talking to yourself about it and being honest with yourself and saying, this is how I feel. Don't negate your feelings. Your feelings are who you are. But it's what you do with those feelings that count. And it's what you do with those feelings that help you move forward. So I'll pass it on.
Oh, and if I could just add to what Mischelle said, I love what you said about it being a daily journey. And one big thing that I learned was that we believe what we tell ourselves. We believe what we tell ourselves. And for me, negative self-talk was such a problem and such an issue. I had such negative self-talk from way back, from middle school, from high school. It's all that I knew. I didn't even realize, I was not aware of it. It's just what I thought. And Mischelle, like you said, you have to tell yourself the truth. I wasn't telling myself the truth. I was telling myself that I was stupid. You get from society when you're overweight that you're just a lazy person. And I thought, well, that must be true. And I would say all these terrible things about myself to myself on a daily basis. And so no wonder I had no self-esteem. No wonder I felt invisible. I believed all those things that I was telling myself, and they were not true. And so I had to become aware that that was a problem. I finally came to understand just how terrible I was treating myself. And I had to come up with a way to turn that around. And every time I caught myself saying something negative to myself, I would say no. And I would think of what the truth was, really think about what the truth was. And then I would say that to myself. Mm-hmm. And it didn't happen overnight. I had to do that every time I caught myself being mean and hateful to myself. Mm-hmm. And it happened multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. And it took months of doing that multiple times every day, telling myself the truth. But what I want women to know, and what I want everyone to know, is you are valuable. You're an amazing person. And you need to tell yourself that, because it's true. And if you're telling yourself things that are not honest, that are not true, get a hold of that. And first and foremost, before you can take action, you have to know what an amazing person you are. And you have to be empowered to help yourself, to do things, to take actions to help yourself. And so that's a message that I want everybody to get, is to be really honest with yourself and really watch your self-talk and be positive and give yourself grace and space to do what you need to do.
And I just want to say amen to you, Paige, and amen, Mischelle. Like that is where it's at, because I teach on mindset, leadership, and money. Okay. And so part of it has to do with what we say to ourselves. I know that we're here to talk about invisible to invincible. So I'm not going to necessarily say the title of the book, that I'm working on related to how we talk to ourselves, but it's so important. I have been in so many different situations in my head that were not even true. And I have been in some in my head that were true. But the thing is, we sometimes make our reality based on what our thoughts are. And so the whole invisible thing, none of us are invisible. Like, we are flesh sitting here. We're not in a dream, people. Like, we are actually here. Sometimes it ends up being that we tell ourselves things that are not the reality. And, Mischelle, you are loved, you are beautiful. And I just, it just hurts my heart related to what you said about your dad and how you felt about that. And part of what we do is teaching youth, young adults and adults, but helping people understand that their words mean something, their actions mean something. And whether you're a child, where you can understand that, it doesn't matter whether we feel that they're listening or not, because we've planted the seed. The same thing for adults, planting the seed for them. So helping people to know that they're not invisible is what I hope, that in my chapter help people with. But it really has to do with that self-talk and the mindset. It all starts with our mind, because our mind affects other people's mind. Whatever we say to ourselves or not say to ourselves, somebody's going to pick up on that. So the moment that I came out about the whole bullying thing, it's been a whole new world for me, because this has really helped other people. And even if my voice was quivering when I said whatever it was, or if I still have times that I don't tell myself things that I believe, it still happens. Been in front of thousands of people, it still happens. It's an everyday thing that we have to do. And there's a technique that I use to do that, which I'm not going to go into because we're talking about the book, but we have to do that. It's not a one and done, like you said, Mischelle. It's not a one and done.
Yeah, I just want to jump in, because I do have a little trick that I do. And I think I want to just make sure that everyone knows that they are infinitely loved. and that no one can take that away from you. And so what I do every day, I have a picture of myself as a baby. Well, I was about 1.5 years old, standing up on a chair, food all over my face, but so flippin' cute, I have to say. And every day I look at that picture and I go, I love you, sweet child. I love you with all of my heart. And you are wonderful and special. And you know what? It really is. It's that the love I give to my daughters, but I'm giving it to myself in this action. And it's so powerful and it helps. But Mischelle, you're right. It's a daily, every single day. You've got to get up and get ready and remind yourself of those things, because this is life, and we have challenges, and those challenges are the things that make us who we are, that make us invincible. And so, but we need to remind ourselves as well.
Right.
Oh yeah, feel free to
Sally.
jump in, Sally. Don't worry, we ain't forget you. Everybody gets a slice here.
Now, I agree with everybody. There's just so much, and you know, the thing is, they say words can't hurt you, but they do.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, and probably more than anything else. And especially if we let it sink in, and we don't get it out. One of the things that helps me is journaling, is to sit down and just write out my feelings, write out what I'm thinking about. And a lot of times what I do is I'll just write it all out, get it all out. And I don't want anybody to read it. I don't want it in my journal. I'll rip the page up, throw it away. But the act of just getting it out there and getting it out of you and putting it out into the world, and then just throwing it away or ripping it up in little shreds or whatever, there's just something satisfying in that. So that's what
It really is.
my advice would be.
Mhm.
That's what I'm talking about indeed, man. This is freaking great. This could easily have been a 2-hour panel indeed, because this is barely scratching the surface here. But in the interest of time, we're going to move to the magical question every guest gets to receive towards the end of the interview, in this case panel, and that is, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time you're in the current year of 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience. So that's right, no Apple stock investments here, y'all, unless you're balling like that. If you're balling like that, then go ahead and buy that Apple stock. Yeah, you're 25 again, current year, go.
Well, I'll go ahead, because I left my first marriage. I was 25 and I was feeling quite empowered. But looking back now at all that I have gained through my life, I think I would just be like, you're going to do great. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy life and let everything come, and just soak it all in and have a great time, and know that you're loved.
I would say trust yourself more and trust your instincts more, that you're smarter than you thought you were at 25, and that there's a lot that's gonna happen that's pretty awesome. So just go for it and enjoy the roller coaster, because it's gonna be a roller coaster.
If I was 25 and had the knowledge that I have now, I would be talking to everyone who would listen to me about how important your mindset is, and how you can achieve anything you want to achieve as long as you have a positive, healthy mindset, and that you truly understand what self-love is, what it means to really love yourself, and what it means to really take care of yourself. And if you can master those things, you can go as far as you want to go and achieve anything you want to achieve. And I would just be shouting that from the rooftops to everybody that would listen.
I've really been contemplating this question. This is a great question. I don't remember ever having this before. So I was really thinking hard and long about it, right? Like a whole 30 seconds before we had to answer. But I believe, I'm a Christian, I'm actually an ordained minister, and I just believe that God has ordered my steps, and that he's always ordered my steps. I have not always followed in the steps that he has wanted me to, because there's the permissive will and the divine will. And so I would have to say to the question that I actually wouldn't change anything, because if I changed something, then that would change who I was to become right now and the impact that I was supposed to have to the people that I'm having right now. The people who I thought that I might have needed to or wanted to impact previously were not necessarily on the path of who I was supposed to impact at that time, which would have changed their trajectory potentially into something that was not real. So I would say, just like a game show type question, since I was just on a game show, I would actually say that I wouldn't change anything. The crying, the tears, the boyfriend that didn't happen, that didn't become my husband that I thought, and I've been married for 30 years now to a wonderful man, that probably would have been different if I had been somebody else at 25. So I'm going to go with door number 3 and not change anything.
Love it. Love it. I'm with you 100%. Would I change anything? What I would want to do is tell someone now who is 25. That's what I want to do, is tell the young lady now, with the knowledge that I have now, who is 25, reevaluate and question your truth. Don't fall into that trap of believing the truth that other people have told you. Reframe your stories. Look at your stories built on the truth that you're finding out, and look behind you and see how far you've come.
Right.
You're 25. Look at what you've accomplished and look what's before you. And then start exposing those hidden truths, those lies that you keep telling yourself, because that way you no longer have to hide. It's all about intentional practice and choice. You have a choice. You don't always have options, but you do always have choice. So make the right choice with integrity and built on the identity of who you are. You know, we're put here, like I said, for a purpose, but it's up to us to find out what that purpose is.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right. I got a whole freaking necklace of gems from this one, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right, indeed. Some magical gems, indeed. Barely scratched the surface, indeed. But for those who want to dive in more to the content and what your wonderful ladies have to offer, buy some copies of the book and share with some camels and penguins, what's the best way, folks, to reach out and learn more about you?
Well, I'll jump in. You can find out more about Lockhart Marketing at Lockhart, LOCKHART -marketing.com. I have freebies, I have my stories, and you can get the book. There's a link there as well.
Mastering Your Monday. Just simple as that. masteringyourmonday.com/pathway to start that journey. So you can find anything you want to find out about me on masteringyourmonday.com/pathway.
Okay, and you can find my coaching business and information on the fasting page, PAIGE, thefastingpage.com.
Love that.
Go ahead, Krystylle.
Nope. Door number 3 again.
She got door number 5. She's going back in the bear trap from the earlier.
He's going for the curtain.
Come on, Sally.
All right. Well, if you want to get a hold of me, you can go to findsally.com. You can find out all about me, all my latest projects, how to connect with me on all of my my social media and everything. So findsally.com.
And we do want to add, we hope everyone will get a copy of this book because it has something to say to you, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. This is a wonderful collaboration of women and authors and writers, and you will find something in there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
Krystylle.
Yes. To find me and everything about me, I have a million different websites and initiatives, different things that I have going on with life innovation. But go to KrystylleRichardson.com and you can see mostly everything about me. There's so much going on, and God is just so good that things are just moving quite fast in my life right now. But my name is Krystylle Richardson. So KrystylleRichardson. Richardson, RICHARDSON.com. And I'm really, really happy to be here with you ladies, and extremely happy and thankful for Linda for allowing us to do this project together. I'm just so excited about all that we have planned for the book and for all the other things that we're not going to talk about right here, but I'm just so excited. This is great. Yeah, I know, right? I'm so excited.
Dom, thank you for having us with you today.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dom.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dom.
My plum pleasing pleasure indeed. So heard that right, folks. Check out all their websites. It'll all be in the show notes as well. Follow them on the social medias as well, because this is only the beginning. It's only one piece of what they're going to be doing in this whole entire life puzzle that lies ahead for each and every single one of them. So that's right. Check it out, folks. Check it out like a library book. And don't worry, I'm going to go around the room again. So any parting words from each and every single one of our guests today, starting with Krystylle?
Yes, we need to actually say something about the book launch day. Right, ladies?
Yes.
Yes.
So the book launch day is August 30th, and we really want everyone to check out the book and get the book so that we can be bestseller on that day. So yes, the 30th, be watching and listening for more information about book launch day.
Oh, and to add to that, all of the proceeds from this book are going to a phenomenal charity called Dress for Success, which helps women go from being invisible to, getting appropriate clothing choices for job interviews and to help them get that job of their dreams, giving them that assistance. Every penny of the proceeds from this book goes to Dress for Success. So we're helping women with the sale of this book. You can help women with the purchase of this book go from invisible to invincible in their lives. So we appreciate every book sale that happens, especially on August 30th.
30th. Yes.
Yes. And be inspired and know you're not alone. We're all in this together. We support each other.
I'm just honored to be on the stage with each one of you and in that book with each one of us. I'm please get the book on the 30th. You won't regret it.
Right.
Buy 2, share it with a young female adult that you know.
Right.
To let her know that this is life. We all deal with certain things. And a lot of times it happens as a child, but that they're not alone. And that my daughter told me once, she says she read the chapter before I gave it. She's also my proof reader. And she said, Mom, I never knew this about you. I never knew that you had to deal with this and felt this way. And so I know it's so important to share it with our young ladies too, so they understand that what they're going through now, they're not alone.
I love that. And big kudos to Linda for putting this all together and for being the driving force behind this book and for coming up with the title and for reaching out to all of us and asking us to be in this book, and having us all together is just a blessing. And I want to thank Dom again for inviting me here for the second time.
This is your host, Dom Brabin. Hope you enjoyed what you just heard. And if you really did, do me a solid and leave a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, wherever you're listening to. And subscribe to hear more, because more is coming your way to advance you further than before.